You're right, guys. I'm James Gregory, the director of Higher Reality Films Limited, and I'm here today with these fine people, my producer here and our cast member Lincoln, or sorry, David Lincoln, who's playing the antagonist in this. We've got The Scammer sitting here, which has been in the works since April last year. And during development, I started talking to everyone I knew about the story, and that's where Chris came on board and Lincoln came on board. Let me tell you what the story's about first of all. So it's a cyber thriller. It gets quite psychological, and it's about a debt-ridden alcoholic who tries to get his own back on a scammer with a hacker friend of his, but ends up in cyber entrapment with a super hacker. And these two jumped on board and have become huge initiators, basically. Chris has raised the 15k budget, but what we're doing is we're shooting 5k at a time. We're getting 80% of the story in May, which is why we need our cast and crew so desperately. So this is David and Chris. Do you want to introduce yourselves and tell us why you came aboard?
Yeah, I'm David Lincoln, and I'm going to be playing Vasily, the main villain, Russian mafia boss, that catches up with Frank, the main character, who's got himself in trouble with the wrong person, namely me, and the last person that you want to owe money to in the storyline. And there'll be all sorts of terrorising going on. Yeah, I believe in this project. I believe in James, and really looking forward going forward with this project.
They were really excited about the story. They fell in love with it at first sight. And literally, do you want to just tell us why you fell in love with it? Like why it was so special to you?
Reasons for being, I think it's relevant.
With scamming, it happens literally every single minute of every single day. That's why I believe, and there isn't that kind of, there isn't that kind of content on the media outlets. From where I see it, I've been scammed myself, and I do believe that it has got that kind of thing where you are sitting there and you're stuck basically, and you put yourself into this position, and obviously the main character's thinking, Christ, how have I got myself to this point? Now I'm believing that this is happening. I think that, but in actual fact, something else is actually happening, and it's kind of it's what happens to a lot of people in the world. They get themselves into a very bad situation which they can't get out of, and James has written something basically about that
With some major twists and turning points to make it original.
But that's what's going to make it a film. Yeah, that is what that's what makes it a film. It's a cyber thriller. It's super fast insanity. It's gonna be very intense. Main character is going to be very demanding. So we believe we want to find the right people. It's only a small cast, but we need the right people. So here we are today introducing ourselves, and I'll pass you back to James.
I'm just going to talk a little bit about the cast. It's a small cast, but like we said before, very demanding role. We've got Frank, who is American, because the main character is an ex-stockbroker that has gone into liquidation. So basically it's important that he's from New York, and we are looking for an American-based actor who's based in the UK. And then we've got another character, Jimmy, who is Frank's lawyer, always trying to keep him out of trouble. His ex-wife, Libby, Paige, his 11 to 12-year-old daughter, Big Tony, who's a dodgy accountant working for him. We've got other characters that we're adding in, someone called Lacey, who is like the woman as temptress. Then we've got Vasily, who's already cast. We need some wingmen for Vasily. And then we've got, ultimately, the hacker, Joe. So the other thing I want to mention about this is this can be done anywhere in the world. I mean, literally, if you have a webcam and you've got a background behind you, you can act in this, because most of it takes place on the computer, and it's all through video calls, all the rest of it of how we set up the conflict. That's why we're sure we can manage this on a shoestring budget. We're also in need, very importantly, of a production designer to come aboard very quickly, because we've got a huge list of graphic design and all sorts of stuff that needs to be put together. So it would be really useful if they come aboard soon. This is a relevant story for today, in the sense of everyone's being scammed. There's people out there doing this left, right and centre, but this comes from a different angle, because it brings something, I don't want to spoil it, but it brings something that affects everyone and is going to affect our everyday lives into this plot line. So I think the thing that really makes it different is it is a psychological story about coming to terms with addiction that rules us. I don't want to say too much more. The main plan is, with this, we do want some appeal from Netflix. We do want to try, that is our main goal, to try and sell it to the streaming generation and give them something that isn't hard to watch for a change. So if you want to know any more about the company, or about the next project, or any project after that, visit the website and have a look around.